to Let's Talk Nutrition, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. Neil Levin, as I announced in the first portion of the show, is my guest today, and he's going to talk about an oldie. It's funny, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't look at his. I saw lecithin, then I didn't see the second part of his sentence or his statement for the topic because the screen I was blurred for whatever, and I was going to say oldie but goodie, and lo and behold, that's what he has, an oldie but goodie, lecithin. My goodness, that is an oldie but goodie. And then he wants to talk about soy versus sunflower lecithin. Try to say that with cotton in your mouth. And phosphatidylserine. I wonder what that's all about. What are those for? Oh, we're going to find out. The theme in the first portion of the show, doing a good thing in a bad way. That captures what I was talking about and what I was referring to, that sometimes vegans and vegetarians are doing a good thing in a bad way. And they're eating more processed, refined foods and grains, especially, than they should. And some are even including dairy, eggs, and some might even eat meat from time to time, or more meat than they should. Well, study I reported on today, headline on it was, unhealthy plant-based diet can increase heart disease risk. Good study. You had the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health and the Brigham and Women's Hospital collaborating and doing the study. And they looked at 3 different variations of a so-called plant-based diet. One legitimate, the one that I advocate for, and 2 variations. Bottom line, they found that, and I'll quote them. Let me grab my notes. I got my supplements all over the top of this article. And the quote was, it was found that participants who adhered to a healthful plant-based diet, excluding animal-derived products and including fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, had a substantially reduced risk of developing heart disease. But the researchers also noted that consumption of unwholesome plant-based derived foods, there is such a critter, such as refined grains, had a negative impact on the heart, close quote. So don't do a good thing in a bad way. Plant-based, whole food, plant-based diet, no meat, no dairy, and if you have heart disease, no oil. You follow that paradigm, you'll do just fine. I am convinced of that. The data are there to support my assertion. And you'll never have to diet again, by the way. If you're you'll lose the weight, and you won't have to worry about it coming back. My guest is Neil Levin. He's nutrition manager for NOW. And he's been doing that job for a while. He's been in the business, I mentioned at the top of the first hour, a long time. A lot of experience in health stores. I mean, he's decades worth of experience and knowledge and insight here. Doing a good thing in a bad way, Neil. Are you a vegan or a vegetarian?
I'm a vegetarian since 1972.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think?
Well, that's why I became a nutritionist, so I could figure out what the heck I could eat and be healthy.
You figure I'll fix my own car.
Yeah, in a sense. Well, what was funny, I was living in a dorm at the University of Illinois downstate, Champaign, and they had a 2-year dorm requirement for students so they could pay off the bonds and things. So I was having to eat in the cafeteria, and when I told them I was a vegetarian, they said, well, we don't know how to feed you. Go to the health food store and ask them. And that's how I got started down this long
Are you serious?
road.
Are you serious?
They actually sent me to the health food store instead of some dietitian or nutritionist at the college.
Do you happen to remember the name of the health store?
Sure, I worked there for a while. It was called Earthworks and Earth Foods.
Are they still around?
They're 2 generations later. It's now Strawberry Field Store in Urbana, Illinois. It's
Is it one of the Beatles now that runs that store?
One of their managers.
I'll be darned. You see how things happen, and everybody thinks, oh, you make a plan your work and work your plan for your life, and then you do these kinds of things and it changes your whole destiny.
Well, to quote John Lennon, to stay on the Beatles topic, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
Man, isn't that true?
Yeah.
It's so true. How many years did you work in health stores?
31. I'm very old.
No, you're not. You were 12 when you started. 31 years. Is it an unfair question to ask you? What is the one or two things you learned that significantly were important to you in working in those health stores? One or two things.
Well, the first one was not to let the customers in the store with their baggie of poop, so that we could examine it for them.
What?
Someone actually came in the store with a bag and wanted us to look at it, and we kicked them out of the store.
Was this person intoxicated or something?
They were just way into it. I don't know.
Whack job.
We didn't care. We just got rid of them.
What was the second thing you learned?
Well, learned how to listen to a variety of people, get to the point of what they're trying to find, and be able to suggest things without crossing the line into prescribing or diagnosing. And, for example, somebody would come in. I call this verbal jujitsu, and they would come in and say, I want something for my arthritis. And I said, well, let me show you our joint support section. And you would kind of change the subject without them noticing. And then you're legal.
One of the things I didn't work in health stores, but one of the things I've learned in doing this show, producing and hosting it and being a consultant, is that people will do almost anything, they'll take anything or do anything to get rid of pain. That is one of the things I've learned. Secondly, when people find a path and it produces a result, they go to extremes and become ideological about it and then start doing a good thing in a bad way. Those are at least two lessons I've learned. That first one is almost without exception. A person will do almost anything or take anything to get rid of the pain. Did you see that or experience that with the customers?
Yeah, that wasn't one of the big things I learned there, but I did notice that, sure.
And how long you been with now?
This is my 20th year.
That's on top of the 31 in the stores.
Well, there's some overlap because Fruitful Yield stores used to own Now Foods, and now they're sister companies, but I worked for both of them for a while.
I see. Wow. Lecithin. Lecithin? You want to talk about lecithin today?
Lecithin and phospholipids. They're interesting category.
All right. Oldies but goodies. LTN, Coast to Coast with Neil Levin from Now Foods.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends: Virilomax, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension. Exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Foods is my guest. We're going to get right into it right now. He wants to talk about lecithin and phospholipids. Boy, I mean, decades ago, that was one of the big nutrient items that everybody wanted to take. Remember those days, Neil?
This is an old school product. We used to use dolomite, a rock powder, for a CalMag supplement. We used to sell a lot of nutritional yeast. We used to sell a lot of soy protein, and lecithin was a mainstay of the health food industry. People would use it in their smoothies. They would use it in baking. Today, it's in so many processed foods you couldn't even imagine.
Explain what lecithin and what is lecithin and why do they do that? Why do they put it in this good nutrient in processed foods?
Lecithin is a phospholipid, and that's a compound word meaning phosphorus, the mineral, and lipid meaning a fat. So it's a phosphorus-bound fat, and it's a class of fats that are called phospholipids. And lecithin is one of the more common compounds containing phospholipids. It's commonly found in egg yolk, and it's responsible for a lot of the functional properties of why we use eggs when we bake. And we want it to emulsify, to spread out and let the fats and the waters come together in a product. So it's used in cosmetics and personal care products. It's used in many, many processed foods and baked foods. It's in chocolate. It's the thing that holds chocolate together. So if you're eating chocolate, you're eating lecithin. So, as a small part of it, of course. And what it is, it's something that's in every cell of our body, and it helps regulate our cell membranes and what comes in and what goes out. It's a transport manager for what's entering and leaving our cells. So you want nutrients to go in, you want to exclude things that don't belong there, and you want to excrete from the cells various waste and toxic materials that are produced by the cell itself during its processes. It's also a major part of the brain. So the brain is made up of fats, and wherever there's fats in the body, cell membranes or the brain itself, you have lecithin serving as a functional material, but also fractions of the lecithin have very specific effects as well.
I see. Turns out that lecithin was first, chemically speaking, was isolated by a French chemist, Theodore Goblet, I guess, in 1845. He named this he named the phosphatidylcholine lecithin in French, and isolated the lecithin from egg yolk, as I'm reading here. And they mention that it's a generic term to designate any group of yellow, brownish, fatty substances occurring in animal and plant tissues which are amphiphilic, meaning that they attract both fat and water substances, so are both hydrophilic and lipophilic, and are using for smoothing food textures, dissolving powders, that's called emulsifying, homogenizing liquid mixtures, and repelling sticky materials, close quote. That's from Wikipedia.
Sure, that's accurate, but also lecithin is from a Greek word meaning egg, the start of life.
Exactly.
So
yep.
It's actually referring to the lecithin extracted from eggs, though it's in virtually all oils. Mm-hmm. And lecithin is very useful, as I mentioned, as an emulsifier, holding things together. So it is almost universally used in food processing today. And one example is protein powders. If you're buying an instantized protein powder, mm-hmm. you'll probably see there's less than 1% lecithin added to it to make it dissolve into the water better or the liquid better.
Biologically speaking, how does lecithin serve the body?
In a couple of ways. One, it's something the body really likes because it's very similar to material in the brain and nerves and in the cell membranes themselves, which every cell of our body needs some of this lecithin. Mm-hmm. So it's also used to transport nutrients, both from the gut, and you'll see sometimes products called phytosomes.
Yes.
Phytosome.
Yes.
Phytosomes are, for example, curcumin phytosome, the Mariva material that we've spoken about on your program before.
Yes.
Is a phosphatidylcholine. It's one of the less than major fractions that's attached to the curcumin to help it absorb better. And we have a green tea phytosome. There's a number of things that come in phytosome forms because you're improving absorption of something that's normally not very well absorbed. But then it's not only absorbed from the gut into the bloodstream, but it helps it get into cells as well.
So is lecithin, when it's derived from plants, comes solely from soy?
No. The other common source nowadays is sunflower lecithin, though it's in virtually all oils.
It's virtually in all oils. Okay. All right, we come back. We'll break this down further. We'll see where where that point of clarity comes in here. I know you're trying to get to a point here about why would you want to take this lecithin supplement. Good idea, bad idea. Should it be soy lecithin? Should it be sunflower? Should it be whatever? We'll try to sort this out. This is an oldie but a goodie. I always wondered why I was taking lecithin.
Feeling tired after your meal? Occasional gas, bloating, or indigestion at inopportune times? You may have.
Looking for the perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace for healthy sleep naturally.
Did you know that 7 in 10 people have digestive issues? It's no wonder, really. When you take a closer look at what's inside, you'll see that our intestinal environment is similar to a lush garden, a flourishing biodiversity comprised of healthy gut flora. Flora that we depend upon for our health and well-being. Stress, over-sanitization, over-processed foods, and the overuse of antibiotics have clear-cut our guts, leaving our tummies feeling, well, not great. You see, what we have done by killing off the gut flora is damage the soil of our inner gardens. With damaged soil, nothing can really grow or flourish, and disease starts to set in. But we will let you in on a little secret. Fermentation makes all the difference. You know that bloated feeling you can get when taking a vegan protein? Oh, come on. We know you know. Almost all of us get it. That feeling comes from a natural protective casing that surrounds grains and legumes. Because this casing acts as a natural defense mechanism to prevent the grain or legume from being digested, the result is gas and bloating as it passes through our digestive tract. This is where the magic of fermentation comes in. Only fermentation breaks down this casing, freeing the nutrients for absorption by your body. Not only that, but it amplifies the existing nutrients. This means you are getting all the available nutrients from your protein. But there's more. Remember our garden that we clear cut? Well, fermentation, when done right, actually restores that biodiversity of flora. Fermentation naturally replenishes the soil in our garden. Can your protein powder do all that? Well, ours can. Fermented Vegan Proteins Plus by Genuine Health. 7 plant-based sources for a complete amino acid profile. No bloating, maximizes protein and nutrient absorption, and strengthens your gut health. Gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, non-GMO, and 100% vegan. Try some today. Your gut will thank you. Genuine Health is possible.
This is Gary. I'd like to remind everybody about our health question of the day coming up at the during the next break. So they'll be able to call in at 877-897-8255 and here's Dr. Garko.
And that health question of the day, if you get the right answer, you'll get a $25 supplement gift card to Vitamin Discount Center. VitaminDiscountCenter.com. Talking about lecithin with Neil Levin. I'm glad I brought it up. He's right. It is an oldie but a goodie. As he said, it's a fat, and it's essential in the cells of the body. You'll find it in a number of foods, such as soybeans and eggs. Sometimes it's taken as a medicine, and sometimes it's found in medicines. How about that? It's sometimes used for treating mental disorders or memory disorders, such as dementia, specifically Alzheimer's. Gallbladder disease, it's used for that. Certain types of depression, high cholesterol, anxiety, skin diseases, eczema, bad relationship. No. Neil pointed out, used as a food additive. It's an emulsifier, among other things. And it gets converted into acetylcholine. Acetylcholine, neurotransmitter that's implicated in the transmission of nerve impulses. Neil, welcome back.
Thank you. You are correct. And there's another fraction, phosphatidylserine, that has really overtaken the phosphatidylcholine as a brain nutrient. And one reason is because it stimulates the production of acetylcholine and those kind of neurotransmitters in the brain and throughout the entire nervous system. So it's actually facilitating the production of neurotransmitters responsible for nerve transmission and memory.
Why is phosphatidylserine so darn expensive?
Well, it's a minor fraction of the lecithin itself. It's really a very small percentage. It's phosphotylcholine is your major one. Phosphatidylethanolamine or phosphotylinositol is number 2 and 3, and then it's one of the minor phospholipids. So it takes a lot of concentration. You have to take all the other things and tear it apart. Phosphatidylserine, by the way, is also used as an adrenal cortisol, the stress hormone reducer.
I love phosphatidylserine. Gary, you wanted to ask or say something?
I was just asking if they were naturally occurring.
Yes, they are extracted from vegetable oils, and traditionally soybean oil is the one they're getting it from because they're tearing it apart 6 ways to Sunday to get all these other fractions. But to get identity-preserved, non-genetically modified requires getting it typically from South America or very limited sources in North America or from Europe.
I see.
So it's more expensive, but we do get the non-GMO versions of the soy lecithin. Sunflower lecithin hit the market a couple of years ago and is starting to fill in and replace a lot of the soy lecithin in the health food market, primarily because people are afraid of soy for various reasons. Now, there are no allergens in lecithin. It's defined as hypoallergenic.
I see.
However, there are soy isoflavones or phytoestrogens in the soy lecithin, which are actually healthy compounds that are in all legumes. But some people don't want to get more of these plant estrogens, so they want to avoid the soy lecithin, and then they'll go more toward the sunflower lecithin as an alternative.
I understand. Let's go to Cornelia, Georgia, and talk to Cornelia. No, Cornelia, we're talking to Randall. Hi, Randall. How are you today?
Oh, fine. Yesterday, your guest mentioned that choline was converted by the gut microbiome to TMA, which is converted by the liver to TMAO.
Right, which is oxidized TMA, right?
Harms the cardiovascular system, but now the choline from the soy lecithin is the same molecule. So how can they say that? How can those researchers say that the choline from eggs is harming you, but the choline from soy or sunflower isn't?
Well, choline can get turned into TMAO, right, Neil?
Yeah, but that's due to a nasty bacteria in the gut.
What's that, Neil?
That's due to a bacteria in the gut that's converting it. It's an undesirable bacteria. If you have good probiotics, that shouldn't happen.
That's the point, Randall. That's why you need that balance. You have to have the good probiotic, the good bacteria, more of them. If you have all these other more pathogenically inclined bacteria, that's how that conversion happens. It doesn't make any difference where the source is of the choline. It's a chemical compound. That's what it recognizes. It doesn't care where it came from. And that's what those bacteria will do to it. That's why you need the probiotics. Does that clarify it for you?
Yeah, I just wondered why that study at Cleveland Clinic, they decided to pick out egg yolk, but then they ignored the plant-based choline.
Well, yeah, I guess the writer of that article was trying to make a point about eggs, that there are some issues. If you're eating a lot of eggs, you run that risk of that conversion, especially when you don't have a balanced microbiome. Follow?
Yeah.
That was just sort of a side or a sub-theme of the piece. Well, it really wasn't a sub-theme. He was trying to make a point that these bad bacteria will convert that choline no matter what the source. He happened to be talking about eggs. That's the point.
Okay. Well,
thank you. No, you're thinking, man. You're using your critical mind to.
Yeah, I just thought he was maybe a little biased in that study, but.
No, he's trying to make an argument.
Yeah.
But thank you, Randall. Have a wonderful day in Cornelia, Georgia.
Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you. There you go. So at Now Foods, when we walk into a store, what does Now Foods have on the label? How will people recognize? What should they buy from Now Foods here regarding lecithin?
Well, if you're making smoothies, you really should put a spoonful of lecithin in that smoothie
Why?
for optimal health.
Why?
It's going to emulsify the things in the smoothie. It's going to make it blend better, but it's also going to provide that lecithin. And we don't have time to go into studies, but I saw one study where people took 10 grams of lecithin, which is a couple tablespoons a day, for a month, and they lowered their LDL cholesterol, their bad cholesterol, by 30% in a month, just by adding lecithin.
Wow.
It's a very powerful but very basic nutrient that does so much in the body. The phosphatidylcholine, the major phosphatide in there, the FDA has just come out with a daily value where we're going to have to start putting percent of the daily value on the labels next year for choline for the first time. So they've recognized that as an essential nutrient.
Excellent. So when we come back, we'll explore this a little bit more. As Gary said, we'll have the LTN Health Question of the Day, $25 gift prize with the right answer. We do that coast to coast on LTN.
Want to get at the core issues that make weight loss so difficult? Try PGX from...
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
Here's the LTN health question of the day. It's a simple question, true or false question. And here it is. Is this statement true or false? Gave the answer. Lecithin is an essential nutrient in that it's required by the body, but the body does not make it in adequate amounts. Essential means that it's essential that you get it from your diet, since the body doesn't make enough. Is that statement true or false? Here's the number to call to win the $25 supplement gift card.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255.
Let's immediately go to Tampa, Florida. Del, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. You had a question about vinpocetine.
Why, I was going to comment that Dr. Bill Hemesfor got me started on phosphatidylserine about 15 years ago.
Good idea.
And, mentioned that vinpocetine, he said once you get it into your system, we need to get it up to the brain, and that vinpocetine had tendencies to increase blood flow to the brain.
Okay. Years ago, vinpocetine or whatever, depends on where you're from, I guess, was a prescription drug. Isn't that right, Neil?
Right. It's of questionable legality.
Right. But is Del correct in that it's serve that purpose and increase circulation to the brain?
It would tend to increase circulation to the brain, but phosphatidylserine is well absorbed and gets through the blood-brain barrier anyway, so it's really not needed for that substance.
Okay, Dr. Hemesfor had commented that in many countries it was a prescription drug, but somehow it got through, and it's over-the-counter. You can buy it very simply here.
Yeah, it was a prescription drug. It was prescribed here as well years ago, and then it got turned into they made it into a dietary supplement. I've used it. I like it. It's part of many products, neuro-based brain kinds of products. Will have vinpocetine and phosphatidylserine. And
when I asked him about the dosage, he said, well, you have to experiment with it. He said some of his people did fine on 10 milligrams, and some did fine on 30, and then the ones who were taking 10, if they increase it, it didn't do any better.
Yeah, exactly. It just depends. I always joke around, and I'll say that, when somebody's talking a little crazy, I'll say they don't have enough. They're suffering from cerebrovascular sufficiency, meaning they're not getting enough blood to the brain. Now, maybe I should tell them take some vinpocetine. Del, thank you so much for calling. You have a great radio voice. I've told you that before. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Neil, so can you take too much of it?
It would be hard to. I mean, you're doing spoonfuls of it already to get 10 grams, and that works very well in studies. And you can buy the concentrated extracts, the alpha GPC, which is a source of choline from lecithin.
Glycerol phosphatidylcholine.
It stimulates acetylcholine production in the body. It's a precursor.
Mm-hmm.
And you could take the phosphatidylserine, which is another fraction of lecithin, which stimulates that production of acetylcholine. They both independently or together show that they improve memory even in people with healthy, normal memories.
Excellent. Let's go to Tampa, Florida. Mary Jo, you want to take a crack at the answer. True or false? Lecithin is an essential nutrient in that the body doesn't make it or make it enough, so you have to get it from the diet. Is that true or false?
Yes, that is true, Dr. Garkle.
Yeah, well, congratulations. You won a $25 supplement gift card to VitaminDiscountCenter.com. How are you doing these days?
Okay, how about you? How you doing? Are you doing better, I hope?
Yeah, I am doing better.
Oh, that's good.
I'm in the middle of a second round of chemo as preventative, and even though it's once every 3 weeks, it's still no picnic. This stuff is
I can imagine.
Yeah, in the old days, prize fighting was 15 rounds. This is a 15-round heavyweight championship fight, and you got to come out for the championship rounds meaning that's toward the last 2 or 3 rounds where you really have to get up off the stool, no matter what, no matter how you feel. That's sort of what it feels like. That's the truth.
It's got to be hard for you.
It's hard for anybody.
Imagine.
It's hard for anybody. Trust me. But you know what?
You got to hang in there. You got to hang in there. That's right.
That's right. When you get a caller such as yourself who calls in and asks and cares, that helps me get up off the stool.
Oh, yeah. I think about you all the time.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I listen to your program every morning.
Thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm glad that we're saying something that makes sense from time to time.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, I got guests. Well, when I got
this radio show.
What's that?
I said thank you for having this kind of health radio show.
It's our pleasure to do it. It's our pleasure to do it. It's a privilege and an honor to do it. Trust me. I mean that from my heart.
I know you do.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Right, and you make my job easier, Neil. That's what makes the show rational. I'm crazy. You're rational.
I try.
Man.
I tell people I'm sane, but I'm not normal.
Exactly. Because there are not very many sane people around. I was telling Gary off air. I said, "You see how prepared he is? How smart that guy is." I told him that off air, didn't I, Gary? Just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, twice already.
Twice I told him. Neil, I don't need to ingratiate myself with you. I've known you for many years.
Oh yeah, we're friends.
But before I got sick, I would have never said something like this. But now I've changed. I don't know what's happened to me. But I just want to tell you how much I respect you, and not just because of what you know, but because you're very consistent and you're loyal to your values and you stick to them, and you're just I like the way you do your work, so I respect you for that. Always have. Just wanted you to know that. I wanted you to know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're a credit to the industry, and your company's lucky to have you. You're a good guy. Thanks. Thanks for contributing to the show all these years. You're really a good educator, man. You know your stuff. Man, I'm always impressed with you. Now Foods, Lecithin. They got, you'll find it in the finer health food stores and those that are trying to be fine throughout North America. And visit their website. There's a lot of information on now.com. Nowfoods.com. Is it nowfoods.com?
Exactly.
Uh-huh. Go there. You won't be sorry. Great company, good products, because your health is your wealth.